guessing. And
Okay, keep us
Karen,
guessing.
and there's two more.
Here we go.
Oh, all right.
This is Karen on New Cleveland Radio, and it is time for What in the World with Paul Seaburn and his sidekick, John DiNallo. And this producer here has no idea what day or time it is because I am not sleeping well. So anything goes today.
Okay. No medical issues. We're not discussing
No.
today. Okay. All right, good. We have a whole list. By the way, I'm Paul Seaburn. This is What in the World. Thank you so much for tuning in today, wherever you are and whenever we are. We are broadcasting live right now at 3:30 on Tuesday, December 6th from Northeast Ohio. But you could be watching us on YouTube in the future or listening to us on one of the many platforms that What in the World is broadcast on. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm here with Karen Hale, who you just heard do that wonderful introduction, the media mogul at newclevelandradio.net, our co-host and producer. So welcome, Karen. And also, you heard the name John DiNallo. John is our media, what is he? He's there, my color commentary.
I'm a sports guru.
Oh my God, poor guy.
His list is long and illustrious. Host of What in the World of Sports, and an old friend of mine. So it's always fun to have John on the show. Hi, John.
Hey, Paul. Hey, Karen. It's another week,
Hey,
and
John.
another week after a stunning Michigan victory for all of you college football fans.
Oh, let's get it out of the
Yes.
way real quick. So Michigan won.
And let me say one final thing.
Oh,
The journey continues. Two more wins, and they are national champions.
okay. Well, we'll do a show after that.
I may not be around after that. Who knows where I'll end up? Who knows where I'll be? But we'll have to see.
Okay, so we'll get this part of the sports out of the way because John has his own sports segment at the end. But Michigan won, the Cleveland Browns won, who we've been talking about, and the Ohio State Buckeyes backed their way into the playoffs. So we'll be mentioning them, I'm sure, in the future, but not today because we've got way too many things to talk about. For those of you watching on YouTube, you'll notice that I'm wearing my Bigfoot sweatshirt, which means that I have a couple of Bigfoot stories, and these are great ones. John and Karen and everybody out there, I have a Bigfoot story with photos from Ontario, Canada, and we'll talk about that. There's a great video of this particular Bigfoot available, so we'll tell you how to get to that. Also, for those of you in Florida, I have a story about the skunk ape, which is the Bigfoot of Florida. So you'll want to stay tuned for that. Very interesting, weird sighting of sorts. Let's see. Oh, this is going to be our theme for the rest of the month. Unusual Christmas gifts. This week I've got unusual Christmas gifts for both the humans in your family and your pet. So if you're looking for things for pets, Elvis Presley's plane, one of his many planes, is up for sale. Interesting history of this particular plane, so you'll want to stay tuned for that. I got a story on dinosaurs. We don't do many dinosaur stories, but this week I've got one on pterodactyls in Germany. Who knew that's where pterodactyls were from? But we're going to find out a little bit about that. Right. Roman gladiator wiener dogs. That's right. Roman gladiator wiener dogs. Apparently, wiener dogs have been around for far longer than we thought, all the way back to the Roman Colosseum. So we've got a little bit of information on that. And here's a world record for you, Karen, an eerie world record. So that's the only hint.
That's the only hint, huh? Wow. Okay.
Only hint.
I'm scared.
Yes, with photos, of course. Let's see. So we got more odd news and trivia. We got strange sports with John. I got some good photos for to go along with those. And let's get right to it. So, as you know, at the end of the show, after John's sports segment, we play a little game called Bluff the Co-host. And last week there was a story that one of the two co-hosts apparently had some issues with, and that was the one about the the plastic sushi training puzzle. Do you remember that?
I do remember that. It was,
Yes.
yes, I do remember. How could I forget?
I thought I'd do a little bit of an update on that because there's quite a bit more to that story than just the puzzle. So let me bring the puzzle up here while I introduce it. So this is a toy for children in Japan, especially for kids who want to learn how to become a sushi chef. And it's a plastic fish. In this particular case, this is a salmon. And there's a little plastic knife, and the little pieces come apart so you can take the skin off. And then you slowly but surely pull little pieces of fish out of it and a skeleton, and you can cut the head off, just like a real sushi chef would if he was using a plastic fish instead of a real fish. I mentioned last week your hands don't smell like fish. So it's an interesting little toy. It's expensive, so don't flush it down the toilet. Put it back together and or throw it out with the rest of your leftovers. But this is a huge business. That's why I wanted to talk about it again. This is not the only product that this company provides, and I don't want to mangle the name of the company, so I'm not going to do that. But besides the salmon, they also have a bluefin tuna that if your kid really wants to get good, you can practice on the plastic puzzle bluefin tuna. There's also, let's see if I have another one here. They also have other animals. So in addition to fish, the company also has a little plastic cow with quite a few more parts than the fish, it looks like, that your budding young butcher can take apart and learn about all of the various pieces of a cow that end up in your stew. Not only that, there's a pig up in the corner.
Wow.
You can learn how to butcher a pig. And down in the corner, there's also a sheep. I mean, a sheep on the right-hand side. So if you're into mutton and things like that, and I like that one because there's a little plastic pair of shears, so you can actually practice cutting the wool off the sheep.
How authentic.
Isn't that, John? And then at the other side, there's a chicken. So you can learn about all when you buy a chicken at the store and you open it up, there's a bag of gizzards in there. Well, now you can find out what those gizzards really are with this fabulous set of toys from this company in Japan. What they need. So I'm looking at this. This is their entire offering. They don't have a turkey, which I think would be a popular item in the United States, not just for kids, but for adults who have a hard time butchering the turkey, cutting up the turkey, I should say. Carving, is that the word? Carving the turkey.
Yes.
Carving the turkey.
Carving
Yes.
the turkey.
Yes,
Carving the turkey. So
Yes.
you may not want to carve the turkey after you find out what was inside of it. The fish, it has 34 parts to it. And they're little tiny parts. I think I might have here you go. Look at all these different parts. The different areas of the inside of the fish, the different fillets and things like that. And most of them are pretty small, which means they might be swallowable by younger children. So if you think your kids might accidentally swallow one of these, they have another company has an alternative for you. And that company offers edible animals that you can also buy. So this is a candy bar, a large candy bar that is scored with creases in it so that you can break apart the pieces. We're looking at a picture of a pig right now, a pig candy bar, and all the different pieces are labeled in Chinese or Japanese. So you break them apart and then you can eat them. Now I think I have a photo. There you go. There's the chicken. So pretty cute, right? The this is you can cut the head off, the neck, the wings, the legs, the thighs, all the parts of the chicken, the butt. I'm sure someone likes the butt. I don't know if, but my grandmother, when my grandmother was alive and she used to cook for us, I can remember those particular organs of the chicken. She had a name for them and would always giggle as she was doing whatever it was she was doing with them. I don't know if we ate them or not. But anyways, that's so here's now. I think I have another one here. Oh, so I ordered one and I tried to butcher it myself, and this is what I ended up with over here. I just broke the piece
Okay.
and ate it. That's pretty much it. I ignored the manual because I couldn't read it. It was in Japanese. The manual is called the Disassembly Identification Manual, so you can tell what it is that you're breaking off there. So I would can you think of anybody you might want to give that to for Christmas?
I don't know if he's such a gift, to be honest with you.
I'll give it to you.
Oh, thanks a lot. No, I already have one. You can see the results.
I'll give you another one.
I'll go for the pig. I think the pig might be tasty. All right, so those of you who are regular listeners of the show know every once in a while I mention that John is a collector. One of those people who saves everything, rarely throws anything out. Most of the things he saves are very interesting. Lots of sports memorabilia. I don't think you have anything like this, John. Do you have any Elvis memorabilia?
No, I don't, Paul. No Elvis memorabilia, but
this is right up your alley. This could be something to put in your backyard. I'm not sure it could fit in your basement, but one of Elvis's planes, Elvis Presley is who we're referring to, of course, not Elvis Costello. His 1962 Lockheed 1329 Jetstar is going up for auction in early January. I have a photo of it up here. So for those of you who can't see it, it looks like this plane has not been flown since Elvis died, probably even before that.
Yep.
It looks like it's been sitting out on the runway, and the runway hasn't been used. There's all kind of stuff growing on the runway. Elvis bought this plane in let's see, in 1976 for $840,000. Now, 1976, $840,000. In today's dollars, that would have been $4.4 million. And that was back, that was back in the days when not too many people had private planes. It was just starting to become a popular thing for executives and celebrities to do, to have a private jet. He sold it after a year. He owned it for a year and he sold it. He had to. He said that Priscilla hated to fly and it made her all shook up. So
knew that was coming. Knew that was coming. Come on.
But anyway, very fancy plane. I've got some photos of what it looked like before it was abandoned. He really did. He only kept it for a year. He ended up with six planes total in his career. So let's take a look here. So there's the ashtray and red velvet seats. You can see the red velvet seats and a little gold ashtray back when you could smoke on planes built into the arm of the seat with a little holder for a cigarette. I assume it was a cigarette. I'm not going to imply that Elvis was smoking anything but cigarettes. Now, the interior had 6 plush swiveling seats, which is one of these, and a couch. So if you didn't want to sit in a seat, you had a couch. It had a media cabinet with a television, an audio cassette player, and an RCA VCR player built into it. Also, the galley where they cooked food had a Kenmore microwave and a beverage dispenser, which means that the king shopped at Sears because that's where you get Kenmore.
That is right.
Appliances, right?
Right.
Sure.
Yeah. Yep. So I think I have Oh no, that's not it. That's my. Oh, where'd he go? I lost it. He has a. He was unclear on the concept of technology, though, I think, because back in 1976, uh, he had a car radio built into the media center with the push buttons, the old-fashioned car radio,
Yep.
which I don't think you can get reception in an airplane on a radio. But so where is the plane now? This is the interesting part. The plane was eventually moved to Roswell International Air Center in Roswell, New Mexico. Now, regular listeners of the show and people who know that I'm the head writer at Mysterious Universe will recognize that Roswell is where the alien spaceship allegedly crashed back in 1947. And there's a big alien museum there with all kinds of UFO paraphernalia and recreations of the crash. So that is where Elvis's plane currently sits, on an abandoned runway out there, which means that he was probably the number one singer of Space Aliens. Would you not? I mean, why else would they put it there? Why else would they be interested in it?
You
Sometimes-
are absolutely correct.
I don't know. Sometimes the government keeps things from the public. I don't know. I'm not.
Oh, it could be. It could be. That's right. Elvis was into weird things. So I was trying to think if the King was number one with Space Aliens, who were the number two and number three most popular singers of that era? And number two, I had Elton John, who sang Rocket Man,
Mhm.
and number three, David Bowie and Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars. So, anyways, the price, the asking price, and John, this is where you come in, is only $100,000. But unfortunately, the engine is gone and most of the equipment is gone. So you have to pay to have it disassembled and shipped to your house, Ohio. And I guess now this would be a great retirement project for you. Then put it all back together. Maybe one of those little fish would help you.
Well,
You could.
it's kind of a theme with the little fish. We got the big Elvis plane. I mean, I don't know, Paul. Well, first of all, I don't know if I could get Annette to buy into that, to have that in our yard or have it somewhere. Where would I'd have to get a hanger somewhere. Oh, and then there would be other costs associated. You got to get the equipment.
I have some extra hangers. That's not a problem.
Yeah, leave the wings off and put it in your garage.
Well, we could do that, I guess, but oh my God.
Sure,
Well-
why not? Why not? All right, well, I'll come over. If you get it, I'll come over and help you assemble it. How about that?
Oh, that would be great. You'd be a great ally on that, but I don't know if I can do that. Well, I'll have to see. I'll get back to you on that one.
All right, okay. So I skipped to another photo here. I thought I had another photo of the plane. So Karen, yeah, I gave you a taste of what our world record is coming up here. So the world record, and I mentioned that it's an Erie world record. Those of you who are into synonyms, or no, wait, let's see, what would that be? A homonym? Two words that sound the same but are spelled differently. Erie,
Right.
one of them. So this is a world record sent by a retired teacher from India named Anthony Victor. Good name for the guy who sets the record. Set the Guinness World Record for the longest ear hair.
Oh,
And that was the photo that popped up here. There you go.
No. Oh.
Anthony's ear hair. And boy, if you're not looking at this on YouTube, you need to come and visit us on YouTube. His ear hair is 7.12 inches long from his ear to the tip of his finger, where he's holding the very, very tip of his ear hair. He's been growing it at least since 2007, when he first set the record. So every year they remeasure him, and he's now up to 7.12 inches. If you if you can't imagine how long that is, the word is that the judge from Guinness World Records, while they were holding it to measure, they found a Q-tip inside the hair. Tangled up in there. Who knows when that was?
oh boy.
So he's a teacher, and he's known as the ear-haired teacher by his student. Now, I'm sure they have much worse names for him, but that's the one that he apparently goes by. They're working on a movie about him, believe it or not. And they're looking for some titles, John and Karen. So if you know any titles, I have a couple. So he's a teacher. He's got the world record for the ear hair. I was thinking maybe Goodbye, Mr. Q-Tips,
Oh,
based on another teacher movie. To Sir with Wax, Mr. Holland's Grossness, rather than his opus, and the Dead Flies in My Hair Society, instead of the Dead Poets Society.
yes.
One of my favorite teacher movies from who was that? That was Robin Williams.
Right,
Yes,
yes.
it was.
Now, let me ask you just a general question.
Sure.
He's teaching in a school system. And does the school system have any type of,
Dress code.
dress code, decorum, for the, I mean, first
Hey,
of all,
hey,
number one,
John, I know you and Paul went to parochial schools. Have you seen how teachers dress today to go to school?
Karen, I want to say, outside of seeing a clip on TV, no, I have really no clue.
Yeah, they don't dress as well as they do on TV.
Okay.
Oh,
And
wow.
I have one answer for you, John. One other answer besides that, which is a very good answer, Karen. And my answer is India. That's where. Okay. So
Yeah, nothing against the nation or anything.
against the good people in India,
Sure,
but it's a different culture, and
Right.
for all we know, ear hair may be sacred. The I could be a god in India. Who knows? Let's move on to Bigfoot. Speaking of ears, let's move on to Bigfoot. So a couple of Bigfoot stories this week. This is the first one. So this one is there's a video making the round. I don't have the video, but I have some screenshots from the video. So be ready for those. This was taken near a lake in the northern part of Ontario. Now, unfortunately, they didn't give a specific location with the video, but it's the people who have looked at it have said what an excellent video it is. So let's take a look at the Bigfoot. So there's the how did that happen there?
He's
Okay,
there.
there's Bigfoot right there. This was taken by a person in a boat. They were floating on the this lake, and they saw this creature walking from right to left on your podcast screen here. It's walking upright. The arms are fairly long, and they were swinging. So it's very similar to the most famous Bigfoot video, the Patterson-Gimlin video that everybody's familiar with, the black and white one. I'll give you another photo of this here. So it has moved a little bit. It eventually disappears into the trees to the left. One of the things that now this was sent into the Bigfoot people, the Rocky Mountain Sasquatch organization, which keeps track of Bigfoot sightings in North America. So they were pretty impressed with this. They said that one of the things to look for, and I think I have another photo here in case you can't see the Bigfoot there. There you go. So this one's back a little, back away. It's not as magnified, but they were kind enough to circle Bigfoot. But I wanted to point out that the ground underneath Bigfoot, they pointed out that the ground underneath the Bigfoot matches the color of the Bigfoot's fur. And they said that this is atypical. So it's unusual. And this is a Bigfoot that could easily hide within this area of the woods because its fur would be camouflaged against the ground, which makes sense to me. So John, I'll ask you what your thoughts on this particular photo are before I tell you what the experts have to say.
Well, there's 3 photos, I think, right? So there's
Right. Well, yeah. There were three snapshots from the same video. It's one video. Yeah.
The first snapshot that you showed, to me, it almost looked like his skin tone was like flesh color. And again, no pun intended on a first blush. But then looking at it at this one now, I'm kind of in agreement that Well, even that's the first one, right? But the
Right.
second,
Yeah, that one.
well,
Like a big fat naked guy. Is that what you're saying, John? Like a
It's
big
just
fat
like a naked
guy?
guy, right? Exactly. Now, so my
Wow,
thought
this is
is though,
jumpy here today. What's
but
okay? Go ahead.
my thought is on the camouflage point, I think that's very accurate. I think it looks very similar unless it's a reflection, which I don't believe it is. I mean, look at the color. It's very matching, a close match, if evidently to the ground. And the one that's the last one with the circle, it's again in typical Bigfoot photo fashion. It's too hard to distinguish. I mean, really. I mean, okay, it looks like you can see an arm, maybe a back, but I'm I'm not buying in. I'm sorry, I'm not buying
Well,
in.
good analysis. Good analysis. I apologize that we can't show the video. Google Ontario Bigfoot, and you will Ontario Bigfoot video, and you'll see the video. Very brief. It's only a few seconds.
Okay,
But it's a it walks more like an animal than a human. So and that's basically what the Bigfoot people said, that it could, if it's a hoax, it's a well thought out hoax. It's hard to find brown costumes. Most of the costumes that you would rent to pull off a hoax like this are gorillas, and they're generally a darker, almost black. So
right.
so
Okay.
that's one thing that they said. The but they're hoping that the people who sent it to them will have some more. So there's your Bigfoot for the week.
Okay. All right.
So let's move on to some Christmas shopping. Oh, what did Bigfoot have to say? Bigfoot says he recognizes that guy. That's his cousin. The brown sheep of the family.
There you go.
Okay, so if you're looking for some Christmas items for the hard to find friends and relatives in your family, I've got some tips for you. So here's the first one. No, I don't remember this. My lovely wife is a nature lover, and she likes to feed the birds in our yard. So this could be a gift for her. John, I don't know. Do you guys are you one of those? You put
Oh, you
feed
have a
on?
bird feeder. We have a couple bird feeders in the backyard. Yeah. So
Yeah.
we like to feed the birds. Yeah.
How
Yeah.
about Karen? I don't know. Do you have space where you're at for a bird feeder?
Yes, but I don't put it out because it attracts the squirrels.
Oh, okay. Well, this is the perfect gift then for you, because this will allow you to avoid squirrels. And let's take a look at it here. So this is called the Hum Viewer. Now, the Hum Viewer allows the nature lover to feed their hummingbirds, not only in their yard, but when they're out walking around the neighborhood or in the park where the birds may not have access to hummingbird feeders. So for those of you who can't see it, it's basically a helmet with a clear plastic face guard, and attached to the clear plastic face guard are two red plastic flowers, that the hummingbird can go and suck honey water or whatever kind of sugar water out of. They call it, what does it say? The hummingbirds get to see the fake flowers, they fly into them, and they suck out the sugar water. That's right from the advertisement. I would say, if you're going to wear something like this, to take a breath mint beforehand, especially if you were eating something sweet, so the birds don't go underneath it and start picking your teeth.
Yeah, really, that can be a problem.
That's right. They also warn that to watch out for birds flying into the face guard, because apparently they're so happy they want to kiss you or something. I don't know. And if so, Karen, on the squirrel situation here, what they recommend is to wear a metal tutu around your waist so that the squirrels don't crawl up your leg and get all the way up to the feeder and eat the stuff out of the feeder. So
no 2-2 or 3-3 for me.
Good one, Karen. Good one.
So I'm not, my lovely wife takes care of the hummingbirds. I prefer the robins. So But I went looking. I was looking for something, maybe a plastic sheet that I could put over myself and then cover myself up with worms for.
Oh,
Oh
God.
boy, that's a lot of work. That's a lot of work for something gross.
You think? I don't
Yeah.
know. This was a winner, by the way, on the Shark Tank.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
so maybe I was thinking if this is a winner, maybe my plastic sheet with worms on it might be a worthy contender.
wow.
I could get out of the podcast biz and sell robin feeders, or maybe not.
And retire happily ever after. Oh, very good, Paul.
Okay, so this is a gift for your odd friend. How about for your odd dog? Now, so another vendor. In fact, I think you may recognize the name of this. The brewery is offering turkey beer for dogs. There you go, right there. Turkey beer from Bush.
Why do dogs need beer?
Well, good question, Karen. From the people who make turkey beer for dogs, they say drinking alone isn't always pleasant. So the next time you crack a tall, cold one for yourself, maybe give man's best friend a glass of turkey-flavored beer. He won't get drunk, and you won't get lonely.
Oh,
Turkey broth.
God.
I'm looking at the cans. Turkey broth.
Turkey
Limited
broth. That's right,
edition.
John.
Wow.
John is already looking at the
Wow.
ingredient. Does this sound tasteful to you? Tasty or?
Oh,
It's made with vegetables, herbs, spices, water, and turkey broth to to provide your best buddy with a nutritious and tasty snack that helps promote a healthy digestive system. I've owned plenty of dogs. They rarely need help in the digestive
Really?
mind.
Yeah, sure.
oh.
And so some people have said, do dogs really like to eat turkey? These people have never seen A Christmas Story, the movie, which one of the central scenes near the end of the movie is when the dogs come running through the house and grab the turkey off the table and run out and ruin Christmas. I'm sorry if I spoiled that for anybody who the last person hasn't seen A Christmas Story, but that's basically what they do. If your dog doesn't like turkey, they also have pork bone broth for beer for dogs. So
Oh, God.
I've never seen this in the grocery store or anywhere. I mean,
I
where
believe
do
you
they
have to
market
order
this?
it on their website. You have
Oh,
to
on the
order it
website. Okay,
at
all
a
right,
pet
gotcha,
store,
gotcha.
John.
Well, a pet store would have it, I guess. I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
Wow.
And if your dog's there's a nice mountain scene here, so your dog will think that they're drinking beer made from pure mountain spring water and a pig. I don't know. I that's as much as I know about it. So
Okay.
So
Very unusual. Very unusual.
there you go. There you go. I'll give you a break in the photos here for a minute here. So we talk about what in the world being a universal. We go around the world with and into outer space with what in the world. The Orion spacecraft is currently circling the moon. It should be coming home pretty soon. While it's up there, they're testing all kind of equipment for when humans go up there. And I just found out this week that they're testing the party center for future space program. This is made from Lockheed Martin, which built the capsule. They have a party mode, and they initiated it by using the Alexis that is built in. So the Alexis personal assistant. So they tell Alexis to go into party mode, and bright lights start flashing on and off in all different colors, which to me, I think astronauts would get tired of that in about 2 seconds. But if aliens come around, I think it'd be the perfect thing to turn on, because they'll think, oh my God, these people are so primitive. They still have disco fever. Let's move on to another planet. So it was, but true story. They actually have party mode on the Orion spacecraft. Now, let's go back to dogs for a second. So we mentioned this last week. The archaeologists are digging around the Roman Colosseum, and they're finding what kind of snacks the Romans used to eat while they were watching gladiators fight and Christians being eaten by lions. Turns out they watched another sport, which I was not aware of, and that is wiener dog competition. They actually had, they found the skeletons of wiener dogs underneath the Colosseum, and they believed that they were used in recreating hunting games for the people to watch. So you know, I don't know if they did what races, but if they did races, maybe Julius Caesar was actually assassinated because he owed the bookies for his wiener dog losses. But I happen to have a photo of a wiener dog participating in the Roman gladiator competition. So let's take a look at the photo here. There you go. So there's a wiener dog.
Oh my gosh.
Right in the Coliseum. This comes from the people at IFL Science, so I want to do a shout out to them. I'm not going to tell you what IFL stands for, but you should be able to figure that out for yourself. Okay, so I didn't know wiener dogs went back that far. I thought they were developed in Germany in the 1800s. So apparently they were back. So what I don't know who they threw to the wiener dogs. You know, maybe they threw Germans to the wiener dogs for all I know. After the Christians and the lions were done. Okay, here's another gift for your dog. This one comes from Hong Kong. The Joy Paw Company has developed a series of touchscreen games with a lick-resistant screen to keep your dog entertained at home while you're at work. How about that? So the dog plays kind of a whack-a-mole game, which is what this particular dog is playing. A creature pops up out of the hole, and when they press their dog against the creature, it disappears and pops up someplace else. Just,
okay. Wow.
Sounds like harmless fun unless you put it on a really huge TV and the squirrel or the mole is like 3 times bigger than your dog. And then, you come home and it's going to be a mess. So they're working on some more. They're working on some more games for the dog. Apparently, they're already tired with whack-a-mole and whack-a-squirrel. So Pack Dog is one that they're trying out. Super Malamute Brothers is another one. And Grand Theft Slippers. So look for that in your favorite pet store if you're looking for gifts for your dogs. How are we doing on time here? Okay, I want to mention the another animal story here. This one comes from New York, and they were out looking. People were out in the woods looking for deer, and they happened to see this particular unusual deer right here. Now, this is an all-white deer, beautiful, beautiful animal. It's not a true albino deer, and the way they could tell. There's a number of ways. The first way is to look at the eyes. The eyes are not pink, so the eyes are dark. There's still a little bit of brown on it up around the ears. But the best way to tell if it's an albino deer or not is to play some Edgar Winter Group and see if they do.
Oh, very good, very good.
There you go, because Edgar Winter, obviously one of our favorite albino
performers. Yeah.
Well, his big hit was Free Ride and also Frankenstein. Those were the two big hits.
Remember those songs very well. Remember those?
Oh, yeah. Born in Beaumont, Texas. So we used to hear a lot of Edgar Winter while we were down at Beaumont. And in fact, that's the way they proved that Edgar Winter was a true albino, because they played music by Johnny Winter and he started dancing to it. So Johnny Winter was his brother, who was also an albino. I'm sorry I have to explain all that for the young folks out there, but I guess
young people will be either impressed or not impressed. But yeah,
there you go. That's right, John. That's right. Okay, I want to do this last Bigfoot story for John here. Let's see if I can bring up the photo. So this one comes from Florida. Now, and we talked about Bigfoot in Florida, and in Florida, the Bigfoot is called the skunk ape. It goes back to the Native Americans and to the early Europeans. They would see creatures in the woods and around the mangroves and in the Everglades, and they had a bad odor because they lived in the swamp. So they look like gorillas. So that's where this comes from. Now, this particular video that I'm about to show you, a particular photo, comes from a video. and it says it's labeled strange tree structure in Tate's Hell Swamp, which is a number of things caught my eye there. One is that the name of the swamp, which we'll talk about in a second. But they said that the structure looks like it's something that would have been created by a swamp ape, possibly as a place to rest when after climbing a tree. Believe it or not. So they didn't explain how they curved the tree, got the tree to grow that way. And there's a number of people who think that it may have been natural and it's not really from the skunk ape. But the Tate's Hell Swamp, the name, has an interesting background to it. It dates back to before the Civil War. And there was a guy by the name of Jebediah Tate, and his son was Cebe, C-E-B-E was his name. And the father was very superstitious, and he had a bad year in farming. So he went to a local Native American leader and asked him for help. So the medicine man. So the medicine man says, okay, I'll make a deal with you. You give me a pig every year, and I'll make sure that your crops are good and your cows are healthy and all that stuff. So he says, oh, what a great idea. So he gives the medicine man a pig, and sure enough, for the next year, everything was great. You know, Jebediah and Cebe, they were having a gay old time. He was a widower, by the way. So second year, same thing. Everything was doing good. Third year, everything was doing good. Jebediah gets a little greedy, and he decides he's not going to give the medicine man a pig anymore. He's going to keep all the stuff for himself. So of course, the medicine man gets upset. So he puts a curse on them, and so Jebediah dies. Okay, right away. You know, bad things start to happen. Cebe, the things are going bad. He can't find a woman. He orders a mail order bride from New York, and it turns out she's Jewish. This is a true story. So she comes there and she's Jewish, and he's raising pigs. Okay, so she says, I'm not eating this stuff. You need to find me something kosher. Honest to God, this is so he goes out into the woods, the very woods where the medicine man lives, and the medicine man told him not to go into. So he goes in there looking for cows or some other animals that she can eat, and he gets lost. So days and nights go by. He's lost. Nobody's seen him. He's drinking swamp water, and he's becoming delirious because it's not good to drink. And he emerges in the local town. The town of Carabel is the name of the town. And he runs out or staggers out of the woods and goes to the first person he can find. And he dies. But as he's dying, he utters these words, the words that would make him famous. He says, my name is Cebe Tate, and I just came through hell. So that's why they named it Tate's Hell Swamp.
Okay. All right.
Now, the swamp ape people said that there's plenty of swamp apes in this particular swamp and in the forest that surrounds it. Unfortunately, the people who made this tape, the recording, did not have a photo of it. But they also suspected that it could be a fairy circle. I never heard of fairy circles either. I had to look that up. And apparently, if you want to catch a fairy, you build a circle in a tree, but this is for tree fairies. And it distracts them. It's very dangerous. If you're thinking about doing this, very dangerous to catch a fairy because they can also put curses on you. So what you do is you just put this circle up in the tree, and the fairy comes up and sees it, and they hang out in it, and you can observe them. And that's the tradition of observing fairies in the tree in Tate's Hell Swamp. And there you go. Talk about a weird story.
Paul. That's a very unique story. Very unique.
So, but more on that at mysteriousuniverse.org if you're interested there. So now let's let's get to our sport. So our sport this week, every week I ask John to come up with a strange and weird sport that fits the what in the world theme. And John never fails. He always manages to find something unusual, sometimes we could participate in them. Sometimes we'd want to be as far away as possible. Often we'd like to maybe own a team in the league. That might be what we're about to hear about this week. So, John, why don't you take it away, and I will get your photos lined up for you.
Sounds good, Paul. Thanks for the introduction. So listen carefully, though. Our sport this week is welly wanging or welly throwing or boot throwing.
Welly wanging. Oh boy, this sounds British.
Yes, it is very British. Welly wanging, welly throwing, or boot throwing. And these are terms that apply to the same sport. Let me sort it out for you.
Okay.
The welly
Please do.
Yes, the welly part refers to the famous Wellington boots of England.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good boots.
And the wanging is one of those odd British words that in this case means throwing. So essentially, the sport requires the participants to throw a Wellington boot as far as possible. Now, this is a sport.
Right.
You may have a hard time coming to grips with this, but this is a sport.
Well,
Now,
it sounds pretty simple, but
yeah,
okay.
it's sure. So, anyways, welly wanging originated in the West Country of England in the 1970s. So, in one respect, it's again 50 years ago, but it's not like 1700s, 1800s, something in that line. But
They
but
didn't have Wellington boots back then.
well, right, but it became a hugely popular activity at village fairs throughout the entire country. And then it was also, as you can see here with this picture where they're throwing them, it was also done at fundraising events across Britain.
Okay.
Now, you will find this hard to believe in a way. It is now played as a sport in many different countries. Australia, Estonia, Finland, Germany, Ireland, Italy, New Zealand, and Russia.
Wow.
So it's obviously spread from the island country, right? Now, depending on local custom, different rules are applied to this sport. In parts of Somerset, for example, the boot is actually filled with water before being thrown.
Oh, give it some weight. Yeah.
Yes. Now, some competitions allow a run-up before releasing the boot, while the majority require the throw is made from a standing position. There's this gentleman here doing that.
Yeah.
Now, some places force the thrower to stand in an empty dustbin. Not exactly sure of the significance of that, but that's one custom. A dustbin is where the participant stands and throws the Wellington boot.
Like the circle for shot putters, maybe.
Yes, yeah, good comparison, Paul. Others require that the boot must be large enough to comfortably fit the thrower.
Oh, there you go. So you can't cheat by
right. So there's some sizing going around, in that sense. Now,
wang your.
Yes, welly wanging.
There you
Wait. So the first world record throw of a Wellington boot, recognized by the Guinness World Book of Records, was 173 feet.
Wow.
Set by Tony Rogers in Wiltshire, England, in 1978. And he used a size 8 Dunlop Challenger boot.
Wow.
Dunlop, of course, makes tires, but they evidently make boots.
Yeah, Wellington style boots, of course.
Sure. Now, the current
still in England,
the current world records are 209.9 feet for men, set by a gent from Finland. His name is Teppo Leon in 1996, and Sara Tirkan of Finland also set a record in 1996 of 134.1 feet.
So this is, to put this in football perspective, 200 feet is that's almost 70 yards.
Yes, exactly.
That's a long way.
And so obviously they take pains to measure the throws, right? And Karen, this is for you.
Okay.
Sport is actually regulated by not one association, but several associations. But the one that is most significant is the International Boot Throwing Association, which is based in Helsinki, Finland.
Wow.
But there's also the World Welly Wanging Association, and that is located in Upper Thong, England. The World Welly Throwing Association, go figure, in Wellington, England. And then, the New England Boot Throwing Association I'm not certain if I'm pronouncing this city name properly, but Taipei, New Zealand.
Wow.
Now, the New Zealanders, they take the sport seriously. In fact, they call the welly a gum boot, and they celebrate.
That's gum boot, not dumb boot.
Yes, not gumbo, gum boot, but celebrate gum boot day on every Tuesday after Easter Sunday, and this is when they hold the National Gum Boot Throwing Contest to attempt to break the world record for the longest gum boot throw. For non-athletes, they also have a best dressed gumboot competition. Now, I'm not making this up. I mean,
of course not. No, we don't make anything up here.
Oh yeah, but at any rate, this is another sport originating from England. But if you're one of those people who can't stop laughing at the name welly wanging, just remember this: the British feel the same way about cornholing.
Oh, that's true. Welly wanging is just one letter away from a really dirty thing to do.
That's right. And leave that to people's imagination is the way I'll close.
There you go. Well, this couple right here. I wanted to point this out. We've shown a couple of pictures of people wanging their wellies. And it looks like a lot of fun. This particular couple is very well dressed at a
I'd say so. I would say, yeah.
Yeah, and they're wanging their wellies, so it's a couple activity. There were photos of women doing it as well as men. It's also a celebrity activity. I don't know if you were aware of this, John and Karen, and everybody out there, but a lot of celebrities like to participate in. Here is, I guess you still call him Prince Harry, and
Harry and Meghan,
and Meghan, his wife. And they are wanging wellies. Not sure where this would be. They look like they're both wearing too many W's in this conversation. It looks like they're wearing wellies.
Yeah, really.
Wanging wellies. And Megan is wanging a pink polka dot welly, which could be the lyrics to a song.
Anything's possible.
Anything is possible. That's right. So I thought. I thought I'd never heard anything like this welly wanging from John. And then I went looking through my old yearbook from when John and I went to school together. And I realized that we participated in something like this. Now, as always, John and I don't remember much of what we did in college after hours. I mean, we were very studious, but after hours.
We were very studious students. Yes, we were.
So apparently I challenged John to some form of welly wanging way back in the day. And John being the nice guy that he is, I didn't have any boots. And John said that he would provide me with a boot that I could wang in competition with him. So, and John had a nice pair of boots on that he was going to wang. And he said, I'll be right back. And he brings me a boot to wang. There's John pulling my the boot that he brought for me.
I somehow forgot all about that.
He's driving a tractor. That boot looks like it could be occupied by the entire Mother Goose family, or whoever it was that lived in the boot.
Or Paul Bunyan.
Yeah. So there you go. That's I believe that's a world record boot there. So
yeah, look, geez.
The laces look pretty impressive. So anyway, so there you go. Welly wanging. from the capital of odd sports, England. Thank you, John, so much for that particular
Sure.
sport.
You're
And,
very welcome, Paul and Karen, and audience. Very good.
So, something to talk about at the Christmas party.
Oh, are you having one?
No, I'm not. Are you?
Oh, I thought you were inviting me.
Oh, only if you bring some pork beer.
Oh, sure. I'll do that.
Oh,
Okay. Speaking of games, let's see. Once we're done with sports, it's time for Bluff the Co-host, everybody's favorite weird news game. Bluff the Co-host, it's a very simple game. I will read 3 stories similar to the ones we've been talking about all afternoon. One big difference, those were all real. Believe it or not, those were all real. In Bluff the Co-host, the stories could be real, they could be a bluff, and it's up to Karen, John, and those of you playing at home to decide whether they're real or not, or a bluff. Wagering is allowed, so place your bet. John and Karen, put your hand on the buzzer. Let's get right to story number 1. It seems like everyone is wearing some sort of smart watch and using it to count their steps or check their messages. Well, now we have to change every one to every cow. A company in China has developed smart watches for cows, and the cows are wearing them for many of the same reasons humans do. The smart cow watches help the cows count their steps. They beep when it's time to eat. It gives them weather reports. It helps ranchers locate them when they're lost, and even lets them know if that cute heifer in the corner is winking at them because they're in heat. No batteries are needed because the watches are powered by the energy of the cows walking around. So, if you're a cow and your smartwatch is running slow, it means it's time to get moving.
it's pretty good,
Okay.
actually.
Smart watches for cows from a company in China. What do you say, Karen and John? Real or bluff? We'll go with Karen first.
Well, I don't think it's a watch, but I think it's some sort of a counter that they're wearing. But I don't know why they'd have to wear it. I mean, why do you care how many steps a cow makes?
That's a good question.
I'm not a rancher.
But you know what? I'm going to say it's true, even though I don't believe it.
Oh, that's some good logic going there, Karen.
Oh, yeah, there you go, John. I told you. Well, okay. Karen says it's a real story. John, how about you?
In the interest of everyone being sane, I'm going to say that it's false. I'm going to say it's a bluff. I mean, to Karen's point, why would you have to have a counter or a watch on a cow? I mean, what do you? No, it's false. It's false.
Okay. John says it's a bluff. Karen says it's real. Let's check with the judges. And the judges say if you got a cow in your family, and you're looking for a gift, contact the company in China. That's a real story. And believe it or not,
very good. Wow.
God.
they call it a watch because it looks just like a Fitbit or an Apple Watch, wraps around the leg. And it actually, the one that amazed me, it does count their steps, obviously, so that the rancher knows how many steps, helps them locate. It also has weather alerts, and it notifies them if there's a storm coming. They train them to do that. The best one, though, is it can communicate with other watches and tell if one of the other cows is in heat. Now,
What is the world?
Wow.
What is the world coming to?
Yeah.
Just let me offer that.
one of
What's the
these
world coming to?
yes, yes. Technology is unbelievable. So, okay, so let's check the scoreboard up here. And the scoreboard says Karen 1, John nothing. John, time for you to buckle down here with story number 2, hands on the
Okay.
buzzer. A bank in New York is putting its customers into the Christmas spirit with an unusual promotion. Customers at the ATM can either get $20 bills, or they can press a special button and get vouchers for $20 worth of gold, frankincense, or myrrh from the gift shop next to the bank. The gold is a real $20 gold piece, while the frankincense is a bottle of pure frankincense and essential oil that can be used to make the house smell Christmassy. Since myrrh gum is hard to find, the store is offering $20 worth of peppermint-flavored holiday chewing gum with pictures of the three wise men on the wrapper. The bank says the promotion is so popular, it will probably become an annual event. Okay, so the bank in New York that is offering vouchers for gold, frankincense, and myrrh. What do you say, John? Real or bluff?
I think this is relatively harmless, and I think it's real, and I think to me it kind of makes sense. I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility at all. I'm going to say it's true. I'm going to say it's
Okay.
a true
All
story.
right. John says it's true. Karen, how about you?
Why would the bank want to get involved in something like this? I mean, their ATMs are always breaking, so I'm going to say it's false.
You need to find another bank, Karen, if you're 18.
Yes, I do.
Okay, so Karen says the ATM machine that gives out vouchers for gold, frankincense, and myrrh is, you say it's a bluff. John says it's real. John, who didn't believe in the Fitbit for cows, but this makes more sense, okay? Right? John says
What he
it's
says.
Yeah.
Okay, let's check with the judges. And the judges say, sorry, John, it's a bluff.
Oh,
What-
I'm really in a
agree.
bad way
It
today.
makes no sense. Why would anyone want to do something like that? Gold, frankincense, and myrrh out of the ATM.
I'll put it in the realm in my world or my thought of anything's possible these days. So
Hey, there you go. Okay.
That's true.
Anything is
Doesn't
possible.
surprise
All
me.
right.
all right.
Oh, let's see. Let's check the scoreboard. Oh boy, John is behind here. Maybe he should have worn his lucky Michigan sweatshirt.
Probably should have.
Yeah, no kidding. I know he'll be wearing it before the next game, but we don't have enough time for you to run and put it on right now, John. So just
It's a grin and bear it. Grin and bear it, right?
Yeah.
Barrett, there you go. Rub something lucky. Points are doubled in round number 3. So get get yourself ready. You could at least tie it up here with story number 3.
Okay.
Firefighters hate when they rush to a fire at a school only to find out pranksters pulled the fire alarm. But some firefighters in Iowa got a real surprise when they arrived at a different kind of school. Turns out a doggy daycare facility submitted the alarm. I have a typo here, which caught my eye. A doggy daycare facility issued the alarm. They saw on the security camera that the prankster who pulled the alarm was a big dog who jumped up and yanked the lever down. The owners of the camp, after apologizing, said they don't think the dog was thirsty and wanted a drink from the hose. She was just excited to be at the camp with her friends and showing them how high she could jump. They're not too happy, her friends, now, because they all had to get special obedience training to stop pulling fire alarms. Okay, so the doggy daycare center with a dog that pulled the fire alarm and issued a false alarm to the Iowa Fire Department. What do you say, Karen? Real or bluff?
They're not that easy to pull. I'm going to say it's false.
Okay, Karen says it's a bluff because doggy paws can't fit around the fire alarm. What do you say, John? Real or bluff?
Well, my thought, if it's a large dog, like a Dalmatian, for example, that you always see at firehouses or whatever.
Right.
Okay. I'm going to say it's real. I'm going to say it's real.
So a Dalmatian that wanted to see her friend from the fire department.
I mean, it kind of goes together, kind of.
Wow, it sure does. Wow. Okay. All right. So John says that's a real story. Karen says it's a bluff. Let's check with the judges. And the judges say, hey, it's the World Cup. We have a tie. John.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Pull
Now, I
that
don't know
one
if it was a Dalmatian or not, but I would have added that. I think that adds a little color to it.
As you know, Karen and I always have a 50-50 chance of getting it right. So
That's right.
Right, well, and that's the score today, 50-50. So each of you get half a bag of the myrrh that I bought at the myrrh gum.
we're gonna do some research on that to see if that's going on anywhere in the world. Maybe not just in the U.S. Maybe some other international banks are doing it. But I'll get
Maybe
back to you with that. I'll get back to you on that.
Maybe we should have a 50-50 raffle during our shows that might
Oh.
help pay, some of the expenses.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because the
That could be an
reason,
interesting twist, actually, Karen.
yeah,
Yeah.
or to help John buy Elvis's plane.
That's right.
Oh boy, I don't know. That's more of a pipe dream than anything else.
My dream,
Oh,
a plane
my.
dream. That's what it is. All right. Well, we've reached the end of another episode of What in the World. I want to thank Karen Hale, our media mogul and co-host and owner of newclevelandradio.net, the place to go for podcasting in Cleveland, Ohio, and in fact, around the world. So, go there first to find out where to find the YouTube site for What in the World, and then check out some of the other great podcasts that Karen has. No matter what you're looking for, Karen's got a podcast to suit it. As always, I thank my old friend John DiNallo for his sports commentary, his trivia knowledge, and for being a good sport all the way around. Thank you, John.
Yeah, you're welcome, Paul and Karen. This is always a highlight of my week is doing this podcast. It really is.
Oh, I love it. Thank
Great. I
you.
hope we have a good football score to talk about next week. I'm sure we will be. We'll at least mention one football game next week.
Yeah, we will.
Absolutely.
Yes, let's leave it up to the people to kind of figure out which one it'll be. But yeah,
And the people that we're talking about are our listeners. I want to thank everybody out there. I ran into a couple of our regular listeners over the weekend, over the past week. It's great to talk to them. And if we can, I'm on Facebook. You can access the show live while we're on through Karen's Facebook link there. We'd love to hear from you. But we really are grateful that you tune into us every week, and hope you come back next week.
Absolutely.
good.
And,
Good.